Here you are, maybe it's a couple of months later, maybe it's a year later, maybe it's been years that you've had that inside feeling that you want to post on social media. Maybe it's because you want to use it for the potential of growing your business. Maybe you know that deep down inside you have a ton of value that you bring to the table, and you see other content from other people and you just think to yourself, I know that I can do it so much better. But here you are and you haven't started yet. And the reason I'm making this video is because I was once in your shoes. There were years that would go by that maybe I'd work up the courage to post something and I would, and then I'd stop. Or I'd do it for a couple of weeks and then I'd stop. But I couldn't stay consistent with it. And I've learned what stopped me. And I've also seen with a lot of our customers and clients what stopped them from doing it. And in this video, I want to break down the 4 biggest buckets of why people don't post and how you can overcome those, and share a little bit about my journey as we go through. So bucket number 1 is the fear of judgment. For me, I've learned that this was the biggest one that personally stopped me. And here's what that looks like. You're getting ready to post and you think, oh, you know what? What if some of my friends or people from church or my coworkers, what if they find this video and they see me on camera talking about this topic? Like, what if they laugh at me? What if they think, what if they talk about me behind the scenes? Or, what if I just get judged? Or, what if some of the people closest to me find my content and, they have a certain perception about it? And this was a really big deep down one for me. Here's a couple of the things that I found that might just help you overcome this. Number 1 is that when you are standing, right, just like I'm standing in front of you right now, and I do a complete 360, I'm looking at the world from my perspective, from my eyes out. I'm looking at what everybody's doing, and I'm thinking about how they're perceiving me. But if I put myself in the shoes of you or anybody around, you do a 360 and you're looking at the world compared to you, right? And judgment on you. So whereas I'm worried that you're judging me for posting content, you're worried that I'm judging you for doing whatever you're doing, and we're all just worrying for no big deal, right? And when I started posting, while I didn't actively promote myself to people that I knew, they would naturally find it, right? Just because the algorithm would recommend it or whatever that might be. And I found that they didn't really care as much as I thought. And in fact, almost everybody was supportive. Either they were supportive and I got a message saying, oh my God, that's so cool what you're doing, or they saw it and they never said anything and it never came up. That fear of judgment goes away, but the only way that it goes away is if you prove to yourself that people don't care as much as you think. Because just like I'm saying this to you right now, you probably don't fully believe me, but trust me, 6-12 months into posting, you're going to come back to this video and you're going to say that David was right. And that's the same thing that happened to me. Number 2 is that you're only doing it for money or fame. And this hurts you for 2 reasons. Number 1 is, in the beginning, posting content is a very slow growth, right? Content doesn't grow linearly, it grows exponentially, meaning that in the beginning, it's going to be, low views, low engagement. That's how it starts. And if you're doing it only for money or fame, you're going to probably quit before you're able to see and reap the rewards of what you've put into it so far. And number 2 is that your audience can sniff that out a mile away. If they see your content and they think the only reason that this person's posting is because they want to sell me something, that's the worst way to get customers. Whereas when you come to this with the feeling of service and giving and abundance, and I want to add value to your life, then you're going to be able to grow so much quicker because you're going to stick with it longer. And number 2 is you're going to give so much value that the algorithm sees that people are really engaging with what you're doing, and they're going to push you out to the audience quicker. So if you're doing it only for money or fame, probably it's not worth your time or effort, and you're not going to see the success that you're looking for. Number 3 is year 1 versus year 5. And one exercise that I like to do when I'm feeling down on myself is think of some of the best creators out there that I personally like to follow. For me, it's people like Alex Hormozy is one that I love his content. Or from a more widespread worldwide example, it's Mr. Beast, right? Who makes challenge videos and adventurous entertainment content, right? And I look at their content, I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, they have production crews and scripters and professional thumbnail artists and all of this great stuff. But then when I go to Alex Hormozy or Mr. Beast and I search their videos from oldest to newest, I find that if I go back, Alex, just three years ago, he was sitting at his computer desk, just talking to a webcam and giving value. That's where his start was. Or if you go back to Mr. Beast, his content was gaming content, right? And things like that. It was nowhere near where it was today. So when you compare your year 1 to their year 5, that's an easy way to fall into the trap of comparison and feeling like I'm never gonna be able to live up to that, therefore I'm not going to start. Whereas if you look back at their year 1, it's probably a more doable thing that you would be able to replicate and draw inspiration from. And number 4, because I know that so many of you have aspirations for becoming a business owner or entrepreneur, or maybe you already are one and you're looking to use content for your business, is that you don't have a strategy to sell, or you have nothing to sell. And you might be thinking, well, this goes in contrast to what I talked about up here about doing it only for money or fame. Listen, the reason I post content, the reason you might be wanting to post content and so many others is, of course, because you want to get your products and services and your business units out into the hands of more people, of course. But for a lot of you, you actually don't have anything to sell. So the outcome financially and in terms of return on investment is hard to do. Because when you get to a point where you're bringing in revenue from your business that you can reinvest into advertising, better content, better equipment, and better team, things of that nature, it becomes all that much more rewarding. But you would be surprised how many clients that we've interacted with in the early stages who came to us because they built up a really big mega following, very engaged, very loyal, but they didn't know how to monetize that audience, right? Getting them to go from a viewer to buying something was very difficult. So in terms of this, you want to make sure that you have something to sell and that there's a path to taking this audience that you're building and turning it into revenue, but you're not only doing it for the revenue, you're also doing it and reverse engineering your mindset to add value and add more to the world. So to recap on this, the 4 reasons that most people don't post on social media is fear of judgment, only doing it for the money or fame, they're comparing their year 1 to somebody else's year 5 or year 10, or they have nothing to sell and they have no monetization strategy. So if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to click that subscribe button down below and comment below and let me know which one of these resonates with you the most. And is there any reasons that I haven't mentioned today that may be stopping you from posting content? And maybe I can post content addressing that concern, or I would just love to learn and share more with the community. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.